Hello, hi, welcome to Angloscope with Valerie Marzak. Let's speak English. Come on, you can do it. Hi there, welcome back. This is our English series dedicated to pronunciation, intonation and expression. I remind you that each point has an English version and a French version, so you may refer to a French or English video. For those of you just joining us, please refer to the first video. Now, in previous videos we talked about pronunciation. Today is a new chapter and we're starting with intonation. Intonation is tricky. It's not easy. There are basic rules, of course, but it really depends on what you wish to say and the sort of answer you expect. So today we are going to deal with intonation and what we call WH questions. Now, what are WH questions for a start? Well, simply the words starting with WH which are used in English to ask questions. Let's have a look here on the whiteboard. The words such as what, which, who, where, why and when. With WH questions, usually the intonation will be descending on the last word or syllable. Let's use each of these words, which start with WH, in sentences and create a descending intonation. You will see on the whiteboard that I've actually mentioned when your voice must rise and when it must fall. So this is rising and descending intonation. So let's repeat these sentences. Listen very carefully. What are you doing? Which book do you prefer? Who are you? Where is she? Why is he jumping? When will John turn up? So as you can see here, the intonation is descending or falling at the end of the sentence. Well, this is usually the case with WH questions, but there's always a but, isn't there? You may well produce a rising intonation with WH words, such as these. However, you will no longer be neutral. It will imply that you are surprised or doubtful and that you expect a specific answer. Let me explain this. When you use a descending intonation with WH questions, you are being neutral. You're asking an open question, so the person may reply freely as they please. Let me, for example, take this example. If I say, who are you? Well, the person may reply, well, I'm Valerie, and who are you? This is rather neutral. Now, if I use a rising intonation and say, who are you? I'm no longer neutral. My question is no longer an open question. You are not free to reply as you please. This is a closed question. If I say, who are you? It probably means I don't like you very much and you're going to feel the need to justify yourself. And you may reply something like, well, I'm Valerie. I'm just Valerie. Why are you asking me who I am? You know. Well, I'm Valerie and I really don't care if you don't like me. So there is a big difference between descending intonation with WH questions and rising intonation. If it's rising at the end, you have to justify yourself most of the time anyway. Another example. If I use a descending intonation, so I'm going to be neutral and say, what are you doing? the person will feel free to reply as they please. I may say something like, well, I'm working right now. But if I use a closed question and use therefore a rising intonation and say, what are you doing? Well, the person who's going to reply will feel the need to justify themselves. So here I might say something like, well, I'm not doing anything, I'm just sitting here. Why are you asking? Do you understand the difference here? So usually WH questions is descending intonation at the end. But if you choose to use a rising intonation, this means you are asking a closed question and the person is going to have to justify themselves. So it's really different and you have to be able to master both the rising and falling intonations. To this end, we are now going to repeat some of these sentences using first a descending or falling intonation, which is neutral, and then a rising intonation. Please listen carefully and repeat after me. What are you doing? What are you doing? Who is she? Who is she? Why is he jumping? Why is he jumping? Do you hear the difference? It's actually really different and the answer will not be the same at all. So as you can see, intonation isn't as simple as it seems. Either we remain neutral or we express a personal feeling and this will be reflected in the intonation that we use. Remember that WH questions typically call for a descending or falling intonation, except if you're asking a closed question and you want the person to justify themselves. Hey, let's not forget it's challenge time! Last week I asked you the meaning of as snug as a bug in a rug. I really love this expression. You know what it means? Well, it actually means to feel really comfortable, warm and at ease. So it's a nice expression to use in English. Now, for next week, another expression. Who can tell me the meaning of to take French leave? Please give me your reply in a comment. You're all the way down. Don't be shy. Just try and see what it means and explain it to me. And we'll see next week if you got it right or not. The idea here is simply for you to learn some expressions that you can reuse in everyday life when you speak English. Next week we'll go on with intonation and this time we'll talk about, let me move my chair, which is always in the way. We'll talk about tags or tag questions. You may be wondering what a tag question is. I'll explain this more next week, but for now I'll give you a small example. If I said to you, you will watch my videos next week, won't you? This is a tag. Bye for now and take care.